We'll call the Troy Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. McGarry.
Here.
Mr. Wolke.
Here.
Mrs. Ehrlich. Mr. Titterington.
Here.
Mayor. Here. Mr. Westmeyer. Mr. Ehrlich.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Okay, the first order of business is the reorganization for the beginning of the year, the election of the chair and vice chair. I'm willing to continue serving as chair if that's the wish of Planning Commission. And I have talked to Larry Wolke, and he's willing to continue as vice chair if that's the wish of the commission. I'll open it up for nominations or motions.
Move to reappoint Mr. McGarry and Mr. Wolke to their respective positions.
I will second.
Okay, any other motions or recommendations? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wolke.
Aye.
Mr. Titterington.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Motion is approved. The chair and vice chair are appointed.
Congratulations.
Okay, next item is an appointment to the CRA Housing Council for 3-year appointment commencing January 1st, 2025. Mrs. Ehrlich's term expired on 12/31/24, and I did converse with her before she left. She's willing to serve again for 3 years unless there's anyone else that wishes to serve. We can consider that.
Move to appoint Mrs.
Second.
We have an appointment, or a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Titterington.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Mr. Wolke.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Mrs. Ehrlich is appointed.
Okay. Now we're on to the minutes from the December 11th meeting. They were sent to everyone. Is there any comments, deletions, additions to be made?
Make a
Hearing
motion
none.
to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Okay. That we have a certificate of appropriateness for 301 East Franklin Street to replace exterior windows and replace exterior surfaces. Staff have a report.
Yes, sir. So Bryan Wellmann, on behalf of the owner Eva Enright, is requesting a COA from the Planning Commission to consider alteration of windows and exterior surfaces at 301 East Franklin Street. This project received grant funding through the Ohio Department of Development's Lead Safe Ohio project. The contractor has verified that the windows and exterior walls are presumed to have lead paint due to visual signs and other inspection factors. The contractor is a licensed lead abatement contractor with the Ohio Department of Health. This has led to this request. For the windows, the applicant wishes to replace them with gelled win, sightline, double-hung pocket wood-clad windows with the same opening characteristics and design elements as the original. It's important to note that the same windows were previously approved by the Planning Commission for 321 West Franklin on October 9, 2024. The applicant also wishes to replace the exterior surfaces with LP engineered designed wood. Exterior surfaces to be replaced would include soffit, fascia, trim, and siding. The colors being utilized will be sand dunes, garden sage, and timberland suede. The color palette is attached to the third page. The existing wood surfaces are presumed to have lead paint. The wood does appear to have some original characteristics. However, there are also signs of repairs that have been done. The replacement engineered wood will match the look of the original, but will be a more durable product with minimal maintenance moving forward. Our staff analysis can be found in section 2.3 and 2.8 of the design manual. The sections there on the second page. Staff does recommend approval of the window and exterior surface replacements due to the risk associated with lead paint, as well as the compliance with both section 2.8 and 2.3 of the design manual.
Okay. there any questions for the staff?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
So these windows need to be replaced because of the lead content on the paint?
Correct.
Is there a problem with them sanding off the paint and repainting those? Or are they beyond the ability to do that? I thought that you weren't supposed to replace windows or architectural features, and maybe this is not a significant one, but rather you're supposed to repair or renovate before we get to that point.
Yeah, so there is an option to encapsulate. However, the Lead Safe Ohio program has moved towards funding only replacements instead of encapsulating due to being a long-term solution and minimal maintenance. So that's really the reasoning.
Any other questions? I had one real quick. On the siding, for a case like this, I think it's wood siding with paint over. Do they have to remove that, or is this an overlay?
Correct.
This one will be a removal and replacement.
Okay. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval,
Second.
and a second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Mr. Wolke? Roll call, please.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mr. McGarry,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. Titterington.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, next item is a COA for the replacement of 100 windows at Miami County Courthouse. Staff have their report?
Yes, sir. So these are approximately 100 and some change windows at 215 West Main Street. The OHI form does list a lot of features as contributing features to this building, and the property is on the National Register. However, the OHI form does not reference the windows. It is important to note, though, that could be, there's just so many features that are relevant, they just didn't add the windows back when, in the 70s when they did the OHI form. The applicant has provided a narrative outlining really 4 key points that of the current window conditions, and they'll get into that in their actual presentation. Our analysis can be found on page 2, but overall the replacement windows will match the characteristics of the windows, the depth of the sashes. Really the only thing that does meet is the replacement material is not wood to wood. So that is one thing we'll need to consider. Staff does recommend approval of the proposed window replacements as they do meet Design Manual Section 2.8A, B, E, and F. And that'll conclude my report. And the applicant does wish to do a brief presentation as well.
Okay, well, why don't we do the presentation, then we can ask questions afterward.
Well, I do have one that might inform the presentation. So you're recommending it,
Yes, sir.
but you made a comment about not being wood. What is it, aluminum then?
Yeah, so the replacement windows would be aluminum.
So you're concerned, but you're not concerned.
Yeah, and s- different ways to take it.
I want to get you on the record, Austin.
There is some relevance to that, and
Okay.
we have set some precedents in other buildings for that.
So I'm starting with concerned but not concerned? Is that
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, Commission members. I'm Michael Clary, Chief Administrative Officer with the Miami County Commissioner's Office. We appreciate your consideration of the application for the window replacement project. What I'll do here is just run you through, I'll be brief, through the high-level details and objectives of the project. And then for technical questions, I've got our Director of Facilities and Maintenance, Ben Howlett, and our Architect of Record for the project, Garmin Miller, to answer any questions you have as far as the actual window specs. So to begin, our proposed project seeks to preserve the aesthetic and historical integrity of the building, but also ensure energy efficiency and responsible management of our maintenance costs by replacing, as it has been said, the existing wood windows with the aluminum framed windows that match as closely as possible the appearance and the existing profile. I don't think you all need educated on the historical context, but what I will point out in this slide is unlike some courthouses across the state, this is, as you all know, still an active government building, not just a landmark. So we do have those practical needs of efficiency and comfortable work environment that we believe new windows will provide. So to talk about the current window condition, we've come to the juncture out of necessity really where we need to get these replaced. We have pretty significant rotting and warping of the window frames, very poor energy efficiency by virtue of that first point, and our ongoing maintenance in the vast majority of those windows are not functioning. There's a few pictures here that show the existing condition. As I mentioned, I think all but 10 are not functioning, so that's a concern of ours. So you can.
Michael, can
Yes.
I ask, when you say functioning, what do you mean by functioning?
When I say functioning, I mean able to open, essentially.
Do you want to open them?
So that's something we would like to have available. If one of the judges or clerk office, excuse me, would like to do so. Now, whereas in the past, windows on the second and third floor would go all the way open, building code would allow us or necessitate that we have limiters on the windows. So I guess to answer your question, would it be often that would happen? Probably not, but we certainly would prefer windows that aren't, painted and sealed and caulked shut, I guess, if
Okay.
that helps. So getting on to the proposed replacement, we, as I had mentioned, that involves installing aluminum frame windows designed to replicate the appearance of the original wood windows. Some notable details on that. So custom profiles of the replacement windows, custom profiles to match profiles and dimensions of the existing windows will match one for one. So existing, that's a single hung window that will be replaced with the very same. They will be have energy efficient glazing, which obviously, as I've spoken about, we have serious efficiency issues we'd like to solve. So that helps us reduce our heating and cooling costs and improving occupant comfort. To comply with Secretary of State regulations, because that is a voting location and does store secure equipment for voting. The first floor currently has a laminate security film on those windows. So those will remain laminate, however, instead of a film, there'll be a low iron laminate glass that really will have no different appearance, but out of security necessities, that will be the case, whereas the rest of the windows on the second and third floor will be tempered glass. Replacement costs are a very significant factor in why we're looking and proposing to go with aluminum that very closely resembles wood. It's approximately going to be about $1.6 million, which if you compare to wood replacement is about a $1.4 million savings. So, very significant. And then there's a tremendous benefit from a maintenance standpoint, as you see there in those last bullet points.
Michael, before you go on.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Explain the replacement cost, you say, is approximately $1.6 million, cost savings of approximately $1.4 million. How are you calculating, what are those cost savings that you're talking about?
So the cost
Energy efficiency?
No. So when we talk about the 1.6 and 1.4, what I'm saying there is that replacement for one-to-one, wood-to-wood would be $3 million.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So the only difference, which we kind of see as a benefit actually, is a slight change in color. So if you've noticed in certain lights, I'd say almost all lights. That current existing paint around those windows on the wood frames has kind of a pinkish peach look at times. So what we're looking to do is slightly change the color so that it matches the light fixtures that are on the building, that when they were installed, they were painted to be that gray beige color palette that you see there. So what that's going to do, just as the light fixtures accomplish, that color will more closely resemble and blend to the existing stone. Benefits, I've already been through this, so historical consistency, we believe, even though it's of course a different material, you know, with manufacturing in the materials they're able to use these days, we believe it'll have a very, very close appearance, but a cleaner, you know, more updated look. Energy efficiency we've touched on. Sustainability, of course, and cost effectiveness, which I think I've hit on a couple times here, both with energy costs and maintenance. Of course, we're, you know, sensitive to the fact of, you know, wanting to make sure we preserve the aesthetic look of such a historical building. And beyond just the appearance of the windows, we are going to take the approach of, during our installation approach, will be to minimize the visual impact during construction. So, namely, that would be replicating or replacing the windows one for one without, you know, without any long-term temporary barriers. In other words, you won't see plywood, you know, covering, you know, while we're taking windows out and not replacing them one for one. So that's something we believe will be a benefit to the appearance of the historical district. I don't know that it's necessary to go into these. We just included some pictures from courthouse window replacements in Williams County and Hardin County. Those projects did not, those are the existing conditions. You'll see in the finished product, they did not maintain the existing color. They did change the materials to aluminum, but they went to a black, which you of course see in a lot of modern office buildings. I think, are the windows here outside, are they black aluminum? I can't recall, but regardless, they did not choose to stick with, what's that?
We don't know.
They're silver. They're just metal color.
Okay. So, like I said, I don't, here's another one, Hardin County. They also did not go with the same color palette, but did change the materials. So those were just, you know, they look terrific. I think, you know, everyone in those communities are happy, but we're looking to go kind of one step further and make sure that the color and the profile are a perfect match to what we have now. So yeah, as we get in now to, I think in your packets, I'm assuming you have the elevations and the window and door schedules. So if you'd like to get into that, that's where I would ask Garmin Miller or our facilities director to field any questions you might have.
Do you have I didn't see a picture of the replacement window. Do you have one, or are they custom, or did you bring something?
Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Niekamp with Garmin Miller. I do have a sample of a profile. This is actually one from the Williams County project. We didn't have a custom one made for this project yet because it has to go out to bid first. But this will give you an example of a very detailed profile that they were able to complete in the aluminum. The profiles on the Miami County Courthouse are not, they don't have a circular bead like this, but this will give you an example of what can be done with aluminum. I'll pass this around, but it's a little sharp on the edge, so be careful.
But in terms of what the window itself is going to look like, the sill, the sash, whatever components there are, it'll look the same as what's out there now?
Yes, we'll do the same single hung and the same mullion pattern that is on there currently. This is the color sample for the paint that will match the light fixtures.
Have we, the risk of asking on the record, Commissioner, is the commissioner that controls the lighting at night, is he okay with the color? Will that will be complimentary?
And we did do that lighting project, and we're also right now working on the interior finishes of the courthouse.
Now, one more question. The color sample, we always say paint samples.
Patrick.
This is not a paint applied after construction, this is a coating?
It's a baked on, yes.
Okay.
Be an anodized aluminum, like the sample that we're passing around, that's anodized.
Right.
It will be a painted
Right.
finish.
Just for a little extra context, so this is part of a $4.5 million renovation of the courthouse, the vast majority of which, all of it actually, except for the windows, is interior. So, you know, this has been a major undertaking for us, and this is essentially phase 2 of that project, as well as some additional interior updating, which we've been very diligent. Garmin Miller has been terrific in making sure that we're painstakingly being period specific and make sure we maintain the historical integrity of the building.
Any other questions for Mr. Cleary? Okay. Austin, the issue of using aluminum, that's not totally contrary to what the recommendations are from the Department of Interior, are they?
Well, the standards really are, they want to replace with the same material, look, everything replaced and replicated, and only those windows that are extreme too far gone shall be replaced, is what the Secretary of Interior states. The problem with that and more common trends is that they are starting to go more towards allowing alternative materials that replicate the exact look, because the techniques used in fabricating the metal now can make it look almost identical and be a better, more durable product. So that is the trend that we're starting to see. So the true preservationists would say they would like wood. But that is a trend that we're going away, that's commonly going away from.
So you would call us pragmatic preservationists? Is that what you would say?
I'm not sure I'm willing to make an exact term. There's certainly some benefits with the...
I like that term, so I will go with that, yeah.
How about pragmatic taxpayers?
A question
That
for
works too.
staff. As I recall, in a number of buildings on or near the square, we were confronted with very similar situation, and in those cases, we generally approved the change to aluminum. Is that not correct?
Yeah, we generally have, yes.
Any other comments or questions?
I do have a, so while I can understand the preservationists' thoughts and desire, they're not the ones paying the bills on these buildings. And if we can bring old buildings up to code and keep them looking the same, but make them more energy efficient, I'm all in favor of that. And I hope the Secretary of the Interior will change their standards to make this an easier process for people who are trying to update their buildings. I think it's very prohibitive, and I'm addressing you like you're the Secretary of the Interior, but...
He wishes.
Huh?
He wishes.
He wishes.
You're sure?
I hope that they will bring their standards up to make it easier and for people who are wanting to save the building and make it more energy efficient. So, yeah, I'm in favor of that.
Certainly is a more practical solution. Okay, entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
And a second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mr. McGarry,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. Titterington,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next item is a COA for 14 North Walnut Street, exterior alterations. Quite a lengthy list. Didn't realize that building encompasses as many square feet as it does. Go ahead with the report, sir.
Yeah, so we broke this down really to kind of three sections of the building: the east facade, the alley improvements, and then the west facade. So starting with the east facade facing Walnut Street, they are really just painting the CMU block with painted rookwood dark green. It's currently a dark blue color, so they're really just painting that and then adding a aluminum storefront. The current storefront is aluminum and has been altered, so you're really just updating that storefront glass. The improvements along the alley, the main building components will be painted that same color, that rookwood green. A total of 3 new aluminum storefronts will be installed along the alley, and then a couple of fire-rated egress doors are going to be added along the alley. On the west facade, again, that rookwood green pops out with some trim colors that are painted in that iron ore. The applicant is also proposing 2 vinyl replacement windows on this facade. You have 1 wood double-hung window that's in pretty bad shape, and then directly below that, the previous owner had already replaced it to a vinyl window at some point in time. The windows along the alley were also already replaced with vinyl, so they're just updating the existing vinyl, so that's why we are in support of that. Getting into the paint colors, the similar colors are being avoided. The historically unpainted surfaces are remaining unpainted, so we're good there. And then into those windows, they were replaced with vinyl already, the majority of them, so they're really just updating the existing vinyl. So staff does recommend approval of those proposed alterations due to compliance with Design Manual Sections 2.6 and 2.8. And I'll conclude my report.
Okay, I just need some clarification when you look at the size of the building. This is all the ground level windows, correct? The ground level windows, are there any in the second floor that are?
On the west elevation, it's the second or third floor.
Okay, just between the buildings, correct? Or,
On the west elevation, it's the second and third floor, which is between the 2 buildings.
right. Now, the ones above that face the square,
Yeah.
those have already been replaced. And
One has been replaced with vinyl, and one is an appears to be original wood double hung that is pretty bad shape.
yeah, okay.
Do you have the actual paint swatches?
Yeah, we're working on getting that right now.
It looks like that's a dark green, it's more like an olive, dark olive green. And is the iron ore, is that a black or is that an even darker green?
It's a hybrid, right, Andrew?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a green tint to it, but it's dark.
We'll pass around. We'll pass around the iPad with the color on it.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Circle,
Could you talk to the mic? Thank you.
come forward to be questioned.
All right, Andrew Circle,
We need your address too.
320 East Main Street.
Is there anything behind those windows? Is there
Which one?
usable space?
There will be after the project, yeah, there'll be a residence on the 3rd floor, and then professional office, business space on the 2nd floor.
Okay.
So I gotta ask, what will happen to the creepy dolls that have been in the 3rd floor window?
I think they'll go, they're on my drawings to go, so,
They are.
yeah, they should.
There's gotta be a story behind them, so.
I don't know if I want to know it, yeah. Yeah, so that iron ore color is really like a charcoal that's got a little bit of a green tint to it.
Is that in the background?
Austin, I'm not seeing the ore.
Sorry.
Oh, you just agree.
Yeah, no, keep going that way, or a different color.
I've now gone through your whole iPad.
Yeah. What about the storefront that's actually in the alley? That used to be the shoe repair shop? Is that part of this project? Or-
Yeah, we're proposing to put in aluminum storefront in that entry as well, so it would be a large piece of glass, like a side light, and then a new entry door.
But that's not part of
Does
this.
that come back to us, Austin,
Yes,
or no?
that-
Well,
that's
later.
part of this.
This
Oh,
one?
it is part of this?
I didn't see that.
Now, when you say aluminum, is it like an anodized aluminum?
I didn't hear.
Or is it
Yes.
So, it's not just silver aluminum,
Yeah, that's what we're proposing, yeah.
silver aluminum? That's a replacement one for one, right? That's what's there now?
The existing
Did you address that?
is, I believe the existing is aluminum. There's a wood framed lower portion, and then it's like a thermally non-broken aluminum frame.
Yeah.
3 aluminum storefronts will be installed, when you say along the alley, okay, at the alley. And the alley walls in the alley, those will be the olive or whatever, yeah.
And they're currently the blue with crimson iron.
And those windows will also be, the ore trim?
The
Just windows?
the larger windows would be the storefront, but
They won't have any trim to them? No?
no, but we'll actually go for more like a steel framed window look, which is more in line with the 50s, 60s era construction of that part of the building.
Okay, any other questions or comments for the architect or the staff?
I'll move for approval.
Have a motion for approval?
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, we do have one other item that was submitted for consideration. 15 South Market Street. I believe, Austin, you wanted to address this?
Yeah, so the applicant has submitted an application with a note that says work was done already, just need the okay to let it stay this color. We're still missing like the complete submittal, and the applicant was unable to attend, so I think it's probably in our best interest to look at tabling this application to our next meeting.
Okay, and this just concerns I'll call it the Thompson Building, that section of it, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, the building to the north or to the left side. That's all in compliance, and that.
The yellow and the teal is in compliance.
Okay. Yeah, now this drawing does show some improvement to the windows, which we have no proposals on or anything.
That is,
The exact same color as the original, so they painted it like for like, so they didn't need approval. But there is some proposals for the storefront. We have a door opening that's OSB'd on the top portion on the right-hand side of the building on the third floor. Really don't have any idea of what's being proposed up there. So those are some of the details that we're missing at this point.
Right, yeah, a lot of that was brought up at the previous submittal.
Yes, sir.
So this has been an ongoing concern for several months now.
Yes, sir.
Are we assured that we're going to get this in 2 weeks so that we can consider it?
I will do my best to make sure we get that.
And what if that doesn't happen?
I would have to talk to the Public Service and Safety Director and Law
No,
Director
don't even
on
cop
next
out,
steps.
no.
Okay, we have a recommendation to table this item.
Is there a need to table it since it was not on the agenda? Mrs. Knight?
It's now been brought up.
Yeah, we've discussed it.
Okay, so, make a motion to table it then.
We have the motion, second?
Second.
Wolfie has a question.
I'll second it, but it's not an agenda item, so I'm inclined to think we don't need to table it.
So we looked at it and we'll wait for her to bring back the stuff.
It was an item of discussion, but it wasn't an agenda item.
So no actions taken, no actions proposed. We'll wait for the resubmittal. Okay, is there any other information?
No, sir, that is it for today.
Motion for adjournment?
Take a motion to adjourn?
Motion, second?
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.